All right, good evening, folks. Mike Shrews with the Antler Collector. I'm here with Dave Boland, and we have a couple of beautiful sheds in front. Two of the self standers in the collection that really stand out. And today I asked Dave. I said, "Well, out of these two antlers, which one, if you had to take one home, would it be?" And this shed scores 110 and 6/8 off of just 7 points. This one's 119, almost 120. It's 100 on the typical frame. This one's over 90. It's like 91 on the typical frame as a 5. So, what do you think, Dave? Which one's going home with you?
Well, until you showed me this one here a couple months ago, this has always been my favorite because of 7 beautiful typical points.
Yeah.
So this has always been my favorite, which you know. That's why you did this to me tonight, to see what was going on. But the 5-point out because I'm personally like clean typicals, but I also like gorgeous typical non-typicals, and I don't think I've ever saw one nicer than that.
Yeah, it's a real jewel. This one's from South Central Kansas and found about, I think it was 2017. And the guy found it while running his bird dogs. I kind of told this story the other day, but he was running his bird dogs through waterways. And this antler was setting like this, sit straight up. The grass, it dropped pretty early. It's lost some color, but the grass had laid over it, probably from the snow, I'm guessing. And
Oh yeah.
all he saw, he said, was this. And he found it March 26th. I do remember that. And he said he saw this sticking up out of the grass, and his first thought was it was a morel mushroom. And he said, "Man, that's a huge one." So he goes over there and picks it up, and it was this gigantic antler, and he found the match to it, which is a lot different, just like 20, 30 feet away.
So why didn't it shoot, Mike? Because it's in the grass?
Exactly, at the tip of a waterway.
Typical
Actually,
waterway,
yeah.
yep.
Yep. So
Awesome though.
out there where the red-tailed hawks, they protect these, so they serve a good purpose. Yeah. So, but no, this is a real incredible shed. This is almost 11 and 8, so 19 and a half inches in drop tines on a 91 and change frame. So
one thing you didn't mention, Mike, which is I think is one of the awesome things that you don't see very often, is the veining, running on the outside edge, which is unreal. You just don't see that ever hardly, and you don't see it go that far out if you do happen to see it. Yeah. I think it's on the inside too, isn't it?
It's got it does have some on the inside.
You just don't see that.
You can see it there. Yeah, it's a huge vein actually.
It's
feeding
just
right up
neater
in
than
the
heck. Yeah, that veining like that is just super unusual.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw it, I told the guy, I said, "Did you do something to this?" I mean, it just struck me as so unusual, the veining.
Yes.
And he said, "Oh heavens, no." So it's what you do. But the first time I saw it, I met the guy in Marion, Kansas, either Marion or McPherson, and I get out of my truck. He pulled up next to me. I get out, and he gets out, and he walks around to the passenger side, and this antler was sitting on the floorboard of his car, and I see him open the door, and I could see the base, and he's kind of tussling around in there, and he pulls this thing out, and then he handed it to me, and I was just kind of like, wow.
Yeah, wow.
I had pictures of it, and I didn't know it was that impressive, but man, was it unbelievable when I saw it. It still is to this day.
Yes. Like I said, I didn't think this would ever get unseated for standard like that, but
well, you talk about a look. I mean, this is known as the Flint Hills King. It was found by Chris Coombs in north central Kansas, and
well, this is unusual. The fact it puts straight out.
It does. You know what, folks? You would think that beam was 31 inches. It's only 23 and 6/8. It's just crazy
because it doesn't come out.
There's only 6 inches there from here to there.
Yeah, normal's about 9.5. Mm-hmm.
So from the tip of the G2, the back of this split, to the end of the beam is 23 and a half. It's incredible. It's almost 24 inches.
Wow.
It's just a honker. And it's the longest looking 23-inch beam I've ever seen. I mean,
Yeah.
I would never have guessed it was 23. It's just one of those antlers.
It just doesn't go out and come back. That's why it lost the length.
Yeah,
Yeah, it just goes straight out.
but it's a wonderful shed. Well, another thing we wanted to talk about today was an antler like this. I have people send me pictures of stuff quite often, and let's get up here. So, like this here, you see the G2. I'll let Dave point at it. And then the next point, I have people ask me, is that the G3? And do I get this big mass measurement? So I'll let Dave explain that, and he'll help guys with this question kind of understand.
It's on this particular shed. It's pretty easy to see that it's not. Normally, they got to basically stand perfectly straight up to be so that you can get both if you want to get that big mass, because they go to the beam. Well, in this case here, if you laid a tape measure on the edge of this here, draw that down, you look what happens. You cut that point up just as slick as you can be. Same way if you do it on this one. You lay a tape measure on that one, and it goes right straight across that and goes to the beam. There's no way that it can be typical because you cut it right off. This is actually comes off the base of this one here. It actually might be what we call a half moon point.
Yeah.
You get to go with a half moon in there. So it's a good way of knowing whether you can do that or not. If they don't stand almost perfectly straight up and down, and you can do this here, when you cut that off, it's almost guaranteed that it's going to be a non-typical point. It's just the way it is.
And I'm going to grab Big Mo here. Some people might ask Dave, they might say, well, why is that considered typical and that's not? And maybe you can show them.
Well, if you draw the lines here, it goes up here, up here, up here, and then down like this. If you draw this here, it goes to the beam. This here goes to the beam. They come all across each other just so slightly, but this is a web beam, so it doesn't make much difference because you're drawing the lines from here to here to here. Or here, this one here, you want to draw the line down there, and it just don't work.
I see.
And this not webbing, so you can't do that on this one here like we did on the big mold. That's why.
Yep. I see it. And these stand a little bit more. The angle is more
the
up
angle's
and down
completely
on
different. Yeah,
these.
that one don't come.
Yeah, the
Doesn't
angle.
come directly into it like that one there does.
So the angle's differently on this
Yeah.
one here. It actually goes right to the base of it.
Points right into the base.
Yeah, I see it. Sitting here looking at it, I truly see it. Yeah.
Makes it easier.
Yeah. Yep. But this antler, I don't know, 88, 85, 89, something like that. Cool Canadian shed. It's self-stands. I think it self-stands pretty neatly, if I remember right. Yeah, just like that.
Could do something. That'd be a neat thing to talk about too sometime
Mhm.
about self-standers or different ways standers they can stand, and maybe how many times one shed can stand, how many different times it can stand. Not just the normal,
Yeah.
but this one here stands one way, so it could stand more in if you start flipping around. So that'd be another neat one to talk about.
It would be, yeah. So in this here, if you're wondering, this is like the mass through here. I mean, if you could score it, it's like, if I remember right, it was 9.5. But it just gives you an idea of how thick it is. But it's a real pretty shed from, I think it was Saskatchewan, if I remember right, or Alberta, one of those. But
It's got that weight and short beams, which is
yeah,
kind of what comes from Canada a lot, is more mass and shorter beams generally.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. I
And
think
the
that,
dark color, of course.
yeah. I'm sitting here looking at this in the video. I think the next video we're going to do black background.
Black background.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Oh, here?
This is hard to. It's breaking
Oh,
up
I
the
see what you're
outline.
talking about here.
Yeah, it makes it kind of tough for people to see.
It would be, yeah, and it's one color.
Yeah,
Yeah, solid. Yep, that
Yeah.
always makes it better.
it does.
Black takes away from everything else, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, we just wanted to catch up on that. And so on this shed, real quick, where would you take your mass? So this here,
Oh,
talk about this. Yeah.
we got G1 here, one of these two. G2, G3. This still qualifies as G4, even though the length doesn't exceed the baseline. So it's still got a bump, so it rises up. So our fourth measurement would be here. The third one would be here, second one here, and first one here. But it still Doesn't qualify as a point, but it still divides it up for you because it is a typical point.
I see.
Basically, it's a bump, but it still divides it for us.
So what you're saying is instead of getting your mass on a 4-point frame, like it's going to be scored off of a G1, G2, G3, and an end of beam.
Yep.
But you don't take your halfway.
Don't
you
take
get
it halfway.
here
Nope.
because of this.
Because of that, you take it the smallest between here and here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it. I guess we'll catch you on the next go around. And Dave Boland, it's always a pleasure to see you and have you here.
Well, I'll be back in about 3 weeks, Mike.
All right. If you guys got any self-standing sheds, let's see those. And we're going to talk about doing self-standers that just simply set up off the pedicle like that.
I know a gentleman who used to have a mat set,
Yeah.
but I don't think he has it anymore.
Okay. Just set straight up off the pedicle.
Just the pedicle. Unbelievable. I just shook my head when he showed it to me.
That's cool. That's really cool. Well, you have a good night. We'll talk to you guys later.